In this movie, I want to talk to you about how you can make great presentation slides for your presentations. So let's get started. To start with, you need to choose a good slideshow program. You should have PowerPoint and Keynote on your laptops. You can also use other programs that maybe you are more familiar with. Keep in mind, for our project, you have to submit a copy of this presentation for your grade, and you need to convert the file, the PowerPoint file, into a read file like a PDF or a document. PowerPoint does this very easily. You can save it as a PDF, as indicated right here, which makes it easy to copy and paste into a Word document or anything like that. All right, let's move on talking about creating your slides. Of course, you need to start with a title page. Your title page should have the topic, and it should also have the group member names or the authors of the project. Then you need to consider organization. Think carefully about how you want to organize your slides. Of course, you're going to put the introduction at the beginning, and then you're going to have to think about the body. How are you going to organize the body? Consider, for example, you might want to have things like solutions at the end where you might have causes or effects near the beginning of the slideshow. When you're writing each slide, do not put too much text on a slide. For example, don't put a paragraph on the slide. People won't read a paragraph, it's too much. They lose focus. I recommend that you use bullet points or short sentences, and then speak the rest of the information in your presentation. Of course, you want to use text that's easy to read. So consider, first of all, color. If you have a dark background, use a very light text color, and vice versa. If you have a white background, use a dark text color. You also want to make the text a good size. Make sure that people at the back of the room can read it. And because this is an academic research project, you want to use a very professional font, a font that's clear and easy to read, such as the font that's being used in this PowerPoint here, which is Arial. Of course, check your spelling and grammar. And if you're going to use images, number one, use appropriate images. Use images that are about the same topic. Don't choose an image because it's beautiful. Choose an image because it's useful. And you should also cite all images. You need to show where you got those images. So you cite the images and you include them in your reference list. And of course, that brings us to the last thing. You need to have your references at the end of your PowerPoint slideshow. Let's take a look at an example. So here's an example title page. We have the title and we have the subtopic. So becoming a vegan, this is the topic, and then the subtopic is advantages and disadvantages. And then the author's name. In the case of your project, you would put the group members that also worked on the project. Here is the first slide. Now this would be an introductory slide. It's the definition of the word vegan. Okay, and you can see that I've not used very much text here. I've used bullet points, and I'm going to explain more when I'm speaking. I've also used a picture that shows foods that vegans eat, and underneath the picture there is a citation right there. We have the author and the date. Of course, I will include that in the reference list at the back of, or the end of the PowerPoint slide. Now, if you're going to use a nice big graph, I recommend putting on its own slide so everyone can see it very clearly. If you're copying and pasting a slide from an article, make sure that it's clear and it's easy to read. If it's very fuzzy, try to find a different graph. Okay, and again, you need to cite that. Now I've gone into my body, and now I'm going to explain the advantages and disadvantages. And again, very small amount of text, explaining more while I'm speaking. All right, and here again, the second of the subtopics. Now, when I reach the end, maybe I want to bring it back to the audience, and I want to include them in on the discussion. So, for example, veganism is about not eating meat. Maybe I'm going to suggest to the students in the audience, hey, let's try it every Sunday, no meat. Or let's have lunch at the university, but we won't eat any meat, things like that. So you can include your audience members in your PowerPoint before you end it. Now, you can end with a page that asks about questions. Do you have any questions? Or thank you for listening. That's also very nice and polite as well. Okay. So I hope this helps you create a good slideshow presentation. If you have any questions, of course, you can ask me in class.